Hello, welcome or welcome back to my channel, and welcome to the new quarter 3 of 2025. We made it! Woo! Something I've been doing on this channel is at the beginning of the year I made a video on my goals for the year. Not resolutions, goals, slightly different, quantifiable. And every quarter I have been, this is the second one, but I've been updating on how those goals are going. So how did I do quarter 2 and how am I so far? Let's get into it. I'm going to go along my list, and the first one is playing 12 new bought games, which the idea is to play ones from Humble Bundles and stuff like that I already owned. I am writing down everything though, so it's not quite just that I'm writing down. I have played 9 out of 12. Just in the past quota, I played 6 new ones, which means half of the years I did in one quarter. So yeah, I'm doing pretty well with that. I've played the Dragon's Brew Alpha, which was a Kickstarter game. I played Spiritfarer Farewell Edition, which I've been playing on stream. Played We Were Here Together, which I also played on stream, which was from a Humble Choice, so that was specifically from what the idea is for. I played Topsoil, which is a Prime game. Little puzzle game that comes out daily, but I wasn't playing it daily, I was just playing the past ones. I put that on just as a sort of, in case I don't get there, this is technically a new game. King of the Castle, which was also a Humble Choice, and then Mario Kart World, which obviously came out this year. Moving on to comic books, it was finished 12 comic books, and I still haven't done any. But again, I'm not worried about that. I'm not changing the goal for that at all. I'm also not changing the goal for the games for obvious reasons, hopefully. I'm almost there, and I'm halfway through the year. When we get on to novels, my original goal was finish 3 novels, but in the first quarter I finished 2 and was close to finishing the third, so I changed it to 5. I finished the third the same day I recorded the video, so before the video came out I'd gotten my goals. In total, I have read 9 so far this year, which means I've read 7 just in the past quarter. So the first one I read this quarter, or finished reading this quarter, was Sunrise on the Reaping. I loved it. I've seen people online who are more dubious about it, but personally I loved it. And I wanted to pick it up and read it again straight afterwards, but I didn't. I was good and I didn't just immediately do that. I started reading other novels I got to read. What I then started was Queen of Gods by Catherine Elizabeth Core, and I got this far through it before I closed the book and discovered it says, the breathtaking sequel to Daughter of Darkness, an original fantasy inspired by ancient Greek myth. And I was like, so all that stuff at the beginning that I was like, a little bit weird they rushed through that, but I guess they're coming back to it, and that's going to be interesting to find out later. No, I could have found out in the first one if I had the first one, because weirdly I got this at MCM where they talked about it on a panel, and I hadn't clicked somehow that this was the sequel, not the first one. That was really good, and I went to Libby, which is a library app. It's available in the UK, US and Canada, and probably other countries, I think Australia as well. So if you don't live in any of those countries, you might want to see whether you can. All you need is a library card. If you don't have it, then you can sign up for a library card through it, and you get access to library books, like e-library books. So I searched for them on the app, and I didn't find that, but I did find A Throne of Swans, which sounded also good. So I read that, and they didn't have the sequel to that. So then I read Game Changer by Neil someone, he'll be on screen, because he is the author of the Unwind series, which I keep seeing recommended everywhere, and the only way I can get that, I think, is by buying it. I thought, if I can't get along with the writing style, then I'm not going to be able to read it, and I'd rather find out whether I like the author first, because by buying it I mean ordering it. I won't be able to open it up in a bookstore and just have a look at the first bit. And then I finally got the sequel to A Throne of Swans, A Crown of Talons, and I read that. Recommend. I read this in 2 days, I think, which is, it was sort of normal for me as a child, but bearing in mind I'm only just getting back into reading, that was pretty impressive, to be honest. And the Libby app also has audiobooks on, so then the next one I finished was The Lion, the Witch and the Wardrobe on audiobook, because I had like 4 days of a really bad migraine, which is so not like me. My migraines are normally over pretty quickly. I'm quite lucky in that regard. But it was quite boring just lying there with my eyes closed, and sound doesn't affect me when I have a migraine, so I just not downloaded, I just borrowed an audiobook and listened to that. And I wasn't sure whether to include it on the list. Not because it's an audiobook, just because The Lion, the Witch and the Wardrobe, Chronicles of Narnia, are they novels? Because they're something that I just read, just normally almost as they're short stories, because they're for children. But I've decided that they count. They are novels and everything, so yeah. Then I saw about this new book coming out, which has actually already come out at this point, that I was kind of interested in. But again, I didn't know whether I liked the author. So I decided to go onto Libby again, and I found something else by her, which was The Hurricane Wars, which I really enjoyed. It ends on such a cliffhanger that the next day I went around everywhere trying to find the sequel, because there was a hold on it on the Libby app. Someone else was reading it and someone else was on hold, so I was third in the queue to be able to read it, and I was like, now that could be 4 weeks away. That's what it said. It said probably about 4 weeks away unless someone returns it early. So I got A Monsoon Rising. I enjoyed it, but I also agree with some of the reviews online, some of the thoughts online, that it was good filler, but lots of it seemed to be filler and didn't really necessarily move the plot along. It was sort of almost like an additional to the previous novel, and it's quite a big additional to the previous novel, but I don't regret reading it. I thoroughly enjoyed it. But I understand why some people might. If you're interested in hearing any book reviews for any of these books, or any ones I read in the future, then let me know, because I'm not against that. I'm sort of interested in doing that, although I am a kind of bad person to look for reviews, because I enjoy pretty much everything. It has to be really bad for me to not enjoy it. So I'd have to try to be critical while also being like, I love this more than normal, or whatever. Speaking of videos, the next goal was 12 videos. I have done 6 in total, and 4 of those were last quarter, so I think I'm doing pretty well with that, and this will obviously be the 7th when this comes out, and I've got another one in the works. Technically I've got 2 in the works, but one of them takes ages, and I'm not sure if it's ever going to come out, to be honest. Then we're on to 52 streams. I have streamed a grand total of 21 times this year. So that's almost halfway, and bearing in mind that the first quarter I had only streamed 6 times, that makes, what, 15 times that I've streamed in the past 3 months, which makes it approximately 5 a month. And there are, 6 months left, because we're at the 3rd quarter. So 6 by 5 is 30, so that would get me beyond there. So I think averaging wise, I'm good with that. I'm keeping that like that. I don't want to increase that, and I don't want to decrease that. So that's good. I got that on track, I think. Last one that's quantifiable properly was 50,000 words, as in writing them, and I am at 27,937 in total. This past quarter, I wrote 22,587. That's 7 different books. But the point is to write. So, oh no way, I'm missing a bit. Oh, there's a little bit that I wrote it's only something like 45 words, not 45, but it's less than 400 for sure. There was just sort of an idea for what a start of a book could be, that I have no plans for an entire book, but that was writing, so that should be on there, and it's not. But I am not at all worried about getting to 50,000 words. I'm over halfway there, and most of that was done just in the past 3 months. That's not a problem. Last one, not quantifiable, just a list of sewing projects I've finished. So this entire year I have finished 11, and in the past quarter I finished 5. I have some more in the works. I have literally 3 in the works just from the past week that are going to be sewn together in chain stitching, which is a method that I can't be able to go into right now without showing it to you. If you're interested in what that is, then I can make a small video on it. That would be no problem. Yeah, that's going pretty well. What I've made this quarter, just gone, is a laptop sleeve, 2 berets, a skirt, and a book cozy for someone. So I'm pretty happy with all that, and I think overall I'm doing pretty well with my goals, and I'm pretty proud of myself. I think I can get there for everything. As it goes for changing goals, I just remembered I completely skipped past the fact that I want to change my novel goal, because last quarter we changed it from 3 to 5 and I have blown that out of the water. Since I'm on 9, I think I might change it to 12. I've just started a book that I'm not sure how long it's going to take me, because it feels like it could take me some time. Although I have also borrowed The Magician's Nephew, which is a Chronicles of Narnia book from Libby. So that will count in there as well. Maybe I'll increase it to more than... Maybe I'll increase it to 15. Ooh, that's an interesting thought. I think I will. Oh my gosh, I'm going to change it to 15. 15 novels. Am I? I think 3 novels for the entire year would be a bit too easy. Oh my gosh, I can't believe I'm saying that. 3 novels for the entire year, like all 12 months, was my initial goal. And that seemed like it was going to be a bit hard, because last year I had 4 novels and I didn't do 4 novels. Oh, look at me becoming a reader again. Yeah, no, let's 13. Meet in the middle a bit. I'm going to change that to 13 novels, which is still 10 more than was the original plan. Okay, that's how I'm doing with my goals, and as you can probably tell, I'm pretty darn happy with all that. I'm proud of myself, and I'm really proud of myself. I thought I was doing atrociously. I thought I was doing as poorly as that pronunciation was. If you've done any goals or resolutions for this year, let me know how you're doing with them. Like and subscribe if you'd like to, and maybe you'll see me in the next one. Till then, bye.